KLF for having me. Uh, this is my first visit to KLF. Namaskaram and Salam Alaikum to everybody. It's wonderful to be here by the beach. Are they playing it?
Yes, they're just waiting. Just give it 2 minutes.
ഇവിടെ കായലുകളും
Imagine India on a boat. The boat is only as strong as the people in it. The power to win is not in any one person. The power is when all of us come together as one effort, one goal. To move forward as a nation is to dream together, to aspire together, to build together. Let's find our thalam as a nation together.
ഇവിടെ കായലുകളും വയലുകളും മനുഷ്യരും സമരവളികളും എല്ലാം ഒരു താളത്തിങ്ങനെ ആടിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കും. അത് തന്നെയാണ് വള്ളംകളിയിലും.
തുഴച്ചിക്കാരിലേക്ക് ഈ താളം എത്തിക്കാൻ 150 പേരടങ്ങുന്ന ഒരു ടീമിനെ കൂടാരത്തിൽ പാർപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് തീവ്രമായ പ്രത്യേക പരിശീലനമാണ് നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്നത്.
താളം തെറ്റിയാൽ തുഴ തെറ്റും, തുഴ തെറ്റിയാൽ വള്ളത്തിന്റെ ഗതിയെ ബാധിക്കും.
ഞങ്ങളുടെ താളക്കാരുടെ ആ ഋതം, യേശുവ മാതാവിന്റെ ആ ഋതം മുഴുവനും ചെവിയിൽ ആഹ്വാനിച്ചാണ് കുനിഞ്ഞിന്ന് വലിക്കുന്നത്.
കൊച്ചു കുട്ടികൾ മുതൽ വലിയവർക്ക് വരെ അറിയാം, ഇതിൻ്റെ താളങ്ങൾ തെറ്റിയ താളം പിഴച്ചാൽ വള്ളം കളി അവതാളത്തിലാവും.
നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിലുള്ള ട്രംപറ്റ് ഒറ്റ പ്രാവശ്യം മുഴക്കും. ആ മുഴങ്ങുന്ന സ്വരം കേൾക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് ഈ 92 പേര് ഒരുപോലെ മുന്നോട്ട് കുനിഞ്ഞ് വന്നിട്ട് അവരുടെ കയ്യിലിരിക്കുന്ന തുഴയെടുത്തിട്ട് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്.
At the boat races of Kerala, not one man is a professional athlete. In fact, they are like you and me, fishermen, farmers, postmen, shopkeepers, school teachers. To row as one, they need more than just speed or talent. They need to find the rhythm. India on a boat.
Brilliant. As you can see from the applause that you just got, I think that was your validation that we all needed, Bharat. Thank you so much for bringing Vallangali to people who are very familiar with it, but I think you've taken it around the world. Is that your intent?
See, the whole idea was if you take the Alapi Chundam Vallam boats, everybody knows about it. But what surprised even people locally was the interpretation and how we find a new angle. We found that there are 100 people or 90 to 150 people in a boat, but each one is a shopkeeper, school teacher, farmer, plumber, etc. When they sit on the boat, one person sets the rhythm. So if they find the rhythm, they're winning the race. So I equated it to India. We are a diverse country, we are so different kind of people, but if we find our rhythm, a nation is winning. So I think it was a very interesting play to present this film in that way, and that is one reason why this particular film has done so well. And obviously it is a film made in Kerala, made by Kerala, and young talents of Kerala worked on it, whether it was a cinematographer or the music was composed by Varki here, so and edited locally. So it was about finding young, fresh talents and trying to tell stories from here to a much wider audience.
I think you have succeeded as well. And what I love about him is he's not doing armchair reporting. And that's one thing that I think as a journalist, everybody is a bit guilty of. But here is a filmmaker who does the legwork. He goes around that not many established filmmakers. Now here's a filmmaker who made Vande Mataram. So we are talking about a person from a certain league, but you don't mind getting your hands dirty. Is that your intent as well, to go to every part of India that has not been uncharted or perhaps undiscovered?
See, what is interesting is growing up as a young child, we were always told, oh, India is rich with culture, rich with tradition, rich with heritage, from your grandparents to everybody in the house. But as a generation today, I need to feel it, hear it, smell it, and touch it. How do I get sensory experience of this culture and this great art and creativity that rests in every corner of India? So I thought if I can use the tool of creativity and cinema to tell these unique stories. I don't need a hero, heroine, I don't need all of that. But I will use the tools of filmmaking, best cinematography, best sound, live sound recording, location filming, and and background score after that. So if I put all the tools to tell a story, suddenly the story becomes the hero. So that is fascinating because there are so many unique stories across India. I just put a number to say, how do I make it a big idea? So I said, let me say, hey, we'll make 1,000 films on India. But there are maybe 10,000 films one can make on India. And in a very different way, if I have to express, I don't want to be wasting my time for 2 years trying to wait for a feature film to be made. How do I get dates of artists? I said, till that happens, I'll keep making films. And most interestingly, what you will see is I am getting original ideas and stories from human stories from people, which is far more compelling to tell the stories.
That is so true. It's so refreshing to see a filmmaker who doesn't use the crutches of a star. I mean, can I tell you that Bharatbala has all the stars on speed dial? If he wants, he can harness their star power. But he chose not to. I think somewhere your stories are your hero and not the other way around. Is that true?
I think, I don't know, people ask me, how do you find the stories? Okay, so let's just look at, I'll give you some example, okay. So, there is a place in Chhattisgarh where there is a community of people. They are called Ram Namis, okay. And for hundreds of years, they were denied entry into the temple. The usual issue, upper caste, lower caste, but they showed their tapasya and their fight back in a very different way. They went on to penance. They said, हमें कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता, हम अपना तन और मन को ही मंदिर बना लेंगे. They said, we will make our mind and body the temple. men and women in that in the community tattooed themselves Ram, Ram, Ram from head to toe. And they've been living like this for generations. So, and they don't do idol worship. So they don't go to the temples. They just sit together and read Ramcharitramanas. So that story of penance and their devotion to Ram in this unique form is so much to learn other than our rituals and religion. It's just that the human perseverance was something unique. So
That's brilliant. So you don't need stars, basically.
you know, I won't say that. It depends on when you do feature films. I think you have to toe that line and you have to make, I won't call them stars. I think you have to find the right characters for your movie, right actors to fit in your characters. So it does happen. And I'm a very slow feature filmmaker. I've only made 2 movies.
That's correct.
But I will make more, but I'm not in a hurry. At the moment, I'm enjoying discovering these unique stories across India, and I'm filming every day of my life. And not only that, I'm also finding young filmmakers to come on board to tell their stories. So, especially from Kerala itself, I have about 8 to 10 filmmakers who are working with me from Assam. So from remotest corners, we are bringing a talent pool to say, can we use them and raise the bar of storytelling in short form?
That's brilliant. It's a great opportunity for anybody as well. If you have a good story to tell, perhaps Bharatbala is your man. I'll be very honest with you, Bharat. At one point, when I was watching your brilliant stories, I mean, please go and subscribe to his channel. It's on YouTube. It's called Virtual Bharat. It's very easy to find. Instead of claps, he prefers a click on the button, a subscription button. So that's one thing you need to promise me. All of you have to do. Brilliant stories, by the way. But I wanted to ask you, when I saw it, is it funded by the government? For a minute, I thought it was funded by Narendra Modi and his government, or perhaps another government, another political party. Am I wrong?
You're totally wrong. So the journey started something like 26, 27 years ago. So I was a very successful ad filmmaker making television commercials, and my father was a Gandhian at home. And he's part of the freedom struggle. So in the mid-90s, early 90s, mid-90s, anything about India was not cool for that generation. It was a generation of MTV, Levi's, Pepsi, you know. That was cool for young Indians, and including me. So one day he sat me down and he said, you create big ideas for products, and you create an emotion in advertising for products so that the consumer buys into the emotion and then eventually buys into the product. And he threw me a challenge. He said, can you create a big idea for India? Can you create an idea that can set a fervor in young minds? He said, as a young student, we were singing Vande Mataram during the freedom struggle. Can you find a new purpose for it? And that was that very day, I took up the challenge and I stopped doing advertising in 96. And I said, I will create an idea called Vande Mataram. You know, at that time, what was Vande Mataram was something you listen to in All India Radio that will come early in the mornings. And it was an old tune. With due respect to it, it didn't connect with the generation of that time. And so I said, let's build a new idea with honesty, not something that you're just packaging like an advertising, where there is an honesty in the emotion. So obviously, Rahman and I are schoolmates, and he was my junior, and he has done more than 100 odd TV commercials for me, soundtracks, before he did Roja. So when I got this idea that I want to do Vande Mataram, and you know, at the time Rahman was doing feature film soundtracks. He's never made an album for himself. So I said, listen, you're an artist. This is your first album. So that's how I got Rahman to be a part of Vande Mataram, and we built it. And today, in fact, I want to emphasize that 26 years ago, when I and he sat together, we used to listen to Michael Jackson at the time. The song was, All I Want to Say Is They Don't Really Care About Us. That really pepped us up. So I said, Rahman, it should have that energy. And 25 years later, Rahman, if a new generation listens to the song, it should still resonate with that generation. And that was the brief. So what excites me today is when 100,000 people sit together and watch a cricket match, and whether it's a final or a semi-final, India versus any other country, the emotion that people sing together Vande Mataram, Matuje Salam as a national, it's kind of an anthem, sports anthem, it really excites. So I think it's very important that ideas and creativity have to be timeless, and so that they can cross across generations and still inspire people. So I'm giving a long answer.
Go for it. It's
but
your stage.
the same way I reflect, not today, not many people will know Virtual Bharat, but give me 5 years from now, when we build this cloud of India with 1,000 films coming from the remotest villages to the remotest human stories of poets, artists, captured cinematically, not just our nation, but the world will celebrate it. These are deep wisdom which needs to be preserved. I'm not being idealistic, but I'm just using the tool of cinema to tell stories.
I love that, Bharat. And it's so true that his Vande Mataram was actually a cultural touchstone. I mean, that's like the gold standard now.
I forgot to say something.
Yes, hun.
You
Please go
asked me
ahead.
whether it was government sponsored.
Yes, I did.
Most important.
Yes.
None of this is government sponsored. Vande Mataram was self-financed, but we will find ways to monetize it through sponsorships. In those days, nobody funded us. Even today, then we made Janagana Mana with 52 musical maestros of India. Bhimsen Joshi, Balamurali Krishna, folk to instrumental to all kinds of artists. Again, it's an idea, self-funded. We are a country with such rich classical and folk music. Why can't we produce national anthem that inspires musically? And there was a very interesting case against us. So they filed a case to say that somewhere there is a code which said national anthem should be sung in 52 seconds. How can I ask Bhimsen Joshi to sing in 52 seconds? He just sang it from his heart. And the government of the day changed the rule to recognize all of this as an official anthem. So we have to do it with purity and a kind of commitment and passion. I think we can win over anybody.
That's brilliant. You know, that is the power of a good story and, a song well done as well, shot well. I wanted to ask you, in J school, right, we were taught to tell our story, or our lead as we call it in newspapers, in the first 100 words. It's never easy. One of the most challenging things to do is to tell a story in 100 words. And for a movie as well, to give a comprehensive story, a neat story with a good start, middle, or an ending, or open ending. How do you do it in 10 minutes? And why did you choose the short film format for Virtual Bharat?
See, first and foremost, I don't see the difference between fiction and non-fiction. For me, is it a good story told? If it holds your audience, it's a good film. So, whatever said and done, India is not a documentary country, consuming country. We have so much of mainstream commercial entertainment. It's hardly any audience for documentary. Now it's getting better, but still nowhere near what the world consumes. So if I'm saying I'm making non-fiction documentary series, if I make it half an hour, 40 minutes, nobody will watch it. So in this day and age, they are telling me, make it in 30 seconds, make it in 1 minute, make a reel. I don't want to stoop down to that level to tell my stories. I thought if I can win over audience under 10 minutes and they like the idea, they might watch more. So I'm only, I would say, enticing audiences in the short form. But what is important is tell one aspect of the story very well, so that when they watch that 1 minute, the 10-minute film or 8-minute film, they feel a sense of completion of knowing that story well. So that is something critical.
Brilliant. In fact, while I was going through all his videos, it's quite addictive actually. When you start with one, I think I was up till 3 in the morning yesterday just catching up on all these short films. There's one story that really movie that fascinated me. It was that of a 3-year-old man, 123 years old. He lives in a village and he talks about 3Ds. Perhaps you can tell us. It's impressive that you found your subject. I mean, the subject was spot on. He's apparently the oldest man on earth today. And Bharatbala and his team discovered him, spotted him, and made a story. Impressive story. Can you tell us about how you found him? And I love his swag, by the way.
Well, we just said that, the biggest event, Kumbh Mela, was happening. And as a documentary filmmaker, I don't want to be away from it. We said we will go and document. We didn't have any plan, but we said we will go and document. So while doing that, we stumbled upon this person who claimed to be 123. But he was walking around taking a dip in Allahabad, in Gaya. So he said, how do we know he's 123? So we figured out, took his passport, and his passport clearly started in 18 something, and he is 123 at that time, some 4-5 years ago, before COVID. Now, so immediately we requested him. He has a small ashram and lives by himself in Banaras. And we went and filmed him. So the first question asked in the movie, we start with, how old are you? He said, me, 1, 2, 3. So what was so unique is, I also thank God, some divine help, that they didn't send me, he was 122, nor they sent me when he was 124. It was nice to, it's got a rhythm. And the clarity with which he spoke, I would say let him give him that he's 100 plus. Still with clarity and the energy and the way he walks alone was phenomenal in the Ghats of Banaras. So we asked him what is important for good life. He says 3 Ds.
Disease?
No desire. If you don't have desire, you won't have disease and you won't have depression. So we will fail at the first point itself because we are filled with desire. So we are filled with diseases and depression. So he says that he claims that just because he doesn't have desire, he is healthy and he has no depression. But what hit me was the last line in the film. He claims, I am the happiest man in the world. Tell me how many of us will say proudly that I am happy. When somebody asks, we'll first say, yeah, but, if, so, all that nonsense. But that man claimed at 123, imagine the man has lived a life of invention of automobile, steam, electricity, radio, and moved on to internet. So during COVID, we did something very interesting. Rahman in Chennai, I am in Mumbai, and he in Varanasi in his ashram. We said, let's do an Insta Live. So the man has never done an Insta Live, never sat in front of a computer. And I called the district collector. He didn't have an internet connection. So the district collector provided him a laptop and a temporary internet connection so that we can do Insta Live. So, this is so inspiring, and, when you do things like this.
Of course, and it's impressive. Who are your target audiences though? Because these are stories, let me say, when you think of India right now, there are many, especially in the West perhaps, or even in India, who think it's perhaps not as secular, it's a bit divisive, there's saffronization, etc. What kind of India do you want to project through your films? Or is there an agenda there?
I'm sorry, again I sound very idealistic. The record shows that whether we did Vande Mataram, Janagana Mana, whatever, we did it out of love for what we have a relationship with our country and its people. And we celebrate that diversity. So leave that politics out, totally out. At Virtual Bharat, what is the agenda? There is only one agenda. Tell true stories of people to their audience. We don't come in front. I will not editorially tweak it. I will not come in front of camera and say, listen to this man, like in YouTube vloggers do. The story will speak to their audience. Every story is in its original language. Malayalam in Malayalam, Punjabi in Punjabi, Marathi in Marathi. Like I'll tell you one story that it's called Ajji Bai the Shala in Marathi. It means grandmother school. So there is a village called Fagne in Thane district in Maharashtra, where Monday to Friday, a grandmother takes the granddaughter to school. On Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the grandmothers wear pink sari and carry a satchel bag, and the grandchild takes the grandmother to school. So it's a story about grandmothers going to school. So we went and asked the oldest grandmother, she was around 86. We asked her, why do you go to school? She said, when I die and go to heaven, she's made up, she's going to heaven, okay? Yes. When I die and go to heaven, if they ask me, what did you do down? I don't want to say I couldn't read and write. So I want to read and write before I die. It is a tribute to the great Savitribai Phule. So that was fascinating. Then, she did sign, we show in the film, and she did die. And then she is in the heaven. And she's spoken with the guards and told them that she can read and write. So that cycle is complete. And this film was picked up by a Pakistani YouTuber. And 60,000 people in Pakistan have seen this film and celebrated. So there are no borders for these stories. And most important, they are timeless. Because it's not like a feature film. It came Monday to Friday, weekend, then you can decide the fate of it, it's over. These stories will stay. You can watch it 7 years afterwards and still find it refreshing.
What a wonderful legacy to have.
Have I convinced you to subscribe?
Yeah, the onus is on you. Don't clap,
okay,
he
go
said.
ahead.
All you need is to click his button. Yeah, he's not a big fan of clapping, although you can clap for his wonderful work. Yes. So we are going to show a bit of his movie Mariana as well. That's his feature film, by the way. He's not just into short films.
No, I just want to show that, I enjoy movie making, okay? There's no two ways about it. And I have an actress from this very town, Calicut, Parvati Tirubottu, who acted in my movie. So I want to celebrate her and show a powerful scene from my movie. Can we play that Marianne clip?
Sir, he's subscribing.
Talk to your company. We need money. When your company not pay us money, you today die. Hello?
Maria?
Hello? Sir! AOC worker Maria பேசுறேன் சார்.
Maria?
ஆமா, Maria.
Maria, நீ எங்க இருக்க?
சார்,
It's a very...
want money சார். இவங்கெல்லாம் ஷூட்டிங்.
என்ன பேசுற நீ? எனக்கு புரியவே இல்லையே.
மணி, நான் தான் பேசுறேன். உசுரோட இருக்கேன். எத்தனை நாளைக்கு தெரியல.
என்ன என்ன சொன்ன நீ?
எஸ் சார், ஹெல்ப் சார், மணி சார்.
மரியா, என்ன சொல்ற? எனக்கு எதுவுமே புரியலடா.
மணி,
சொல்லு மரியா.
இனிமே உன்னை பாப்பேன்னு தெரியல.
அப்படியெல்லாம் பேசாத நீ மரியா. உன் நிலைமை எனக்கு புரியலடா. நீ எங்க இருக்க? முதல்ல அது சொல்லு, நீ எங்க இருக்க?
இல்ல சார், தெரியல சார். ஹெல்ப் சார்.
மரியா,
எல்லாம் முடிஞ்சு போச்சு மணி.
என்னடா அப்படி சொல்ற?
நீ எனக்காக காத்துக்க முடியல.
மரியா, நான் சொல்றது கேளு. உனக்கு எதுவுமே ஆகாது, ஒண்ணுமே ஆகாதுடா.
ஆமா சார். சார், ஸ்பீக்கிங்.
நீ என் புருஷன்டா. என் பிள்ளைக்கு தொலைப்பனா இருப்பேடா. மரியா, நான் காத்துட்டு இருக்கேன்டா. மரியா, மரியா, காதல் விழுதா மரியா?
He got your girlfriend! We are stupid! Don't give their guy a fool! Hey, you!
டேய் தம்பி, இப்பவே கொண்டு இல்ல ஒரு நாள் ரொம்ப வருத்தப்படுவேன். பண்ணிட்டு சொல்லிட்டேன். போ.
Bala, you want to tell us about this very stirring scene, emotionally charged scene?
There are a couple of things why I picked up this scene. You have seen a very intense emotional exchange between the two lead characters. Interestingly, Dhanush didn't know what Parvati spoke. Parvati didn't know what Dhanush spoke. We shot this 6 months apart. That is the intensity of an actor when he gets into the scene. Like, I just filmed Dhanush first. And the 3 other kids that are there, the child soldiers, they are real life child soldiers from Monrovia, from Liberia. And they were part of killing and everything, and they've gone through a transformation. So I picked up these child soldiers because in the story they are child soldiers. So I got them from Monrovia in this movie, and we filmed this in Namibia. So the beauty of the scene is like Dhanush performs not knowing what Panimalar would have spoken. And Panimalar, when I filmed her in Kanyakumari, when I filmed was in that schedule. 6 months later, she didn't know. And we edited it together. The magic is there. So I just thought I'd share this with you.
No, but it's a brilliant piece of filmmaking. And like you said, both Dhanush and Parvati are brilliant actors as well. Quickly, I want to ask you, art should provoke an upset. That is the ideal for a filmmaker, right? But we live in a society where we are very easily offended. Very recently, a movie got called off or withdrawn from a streaming platform because it was deemed controversial. In your case, when you live in such a volatile era, how do you impose self-censorship on yourself? In your own head, are you worried, should I sanitize this? Would this go down well? Would it lead to my boycott, etc.?
See, when you're documenting true stories, there is no sanitization. You have to speak from the heart. But, I'm only, if you look at it by and large, that's where I'll say I'll be a little idealistic. My stories are somewhere deep at a subconscious level, has to be inspirational. We all have a hard life here. When you share that moment with me, can I somewhere give you some relief in a way in which you feel good about yourself and carry forward what you sow? I think whether it is Ram Nami, 1, 2, 3, or you take Manu Master from Kerala, or the grandmother story, I think they are all their stories, but we can draw from them. I think that deep wisdom that we are collecting and presenting, there is nothing to be sanitized in that. Like, that's why when you do Ram Nami, today he says he doesn't want a temple. He says that Hamara tan or man hi mandir hai. So that's a big statement in today's world.
That's brilliant as well. Was there any particular chapter or story that really touched you deeply or changed you as a filmmaker, or kind of made you perhaps depressed as well, or happy? Anything that really altered you?
मेरा खून भी positive है.
I see.
I'm very positive. I go to places, I'll find, oh my God, everything has collapsed, but there'll be an opening somewhere. So in that sense, every film for me, I'm in ground zero. So from where I have started at ground zero, I have, really achieved something. So I don't go to a location, or I don't send my team to a location that we know it all. Every short film, for that story, we are in ground zero. So we have a journey to go through as creators. So in that sense, every story is inspiring. I'll tell you what, you book a theater in PVR or some cinema hall here, and let me give you 2 hours of non-stop watching of this film one after the other. I bet I will have love and affection and emotion from the audience. So we will take time to win over that. This digital algorithm doesn't allow us to navigate and reach our audiences. So we keep struggling with that technology. So we will find our audiences.
Oh, I love that. And last question, I think we are going to now open it to the audiences as well. Before that, I just want to ask you, I know you're very, very idealistic. And how do you remain, that's a secret, because most filmmakers I meet, they're very cynical, they talk numbers, but here is a man who doesn't speak numbers. He's not thinking of it. You're not thinking of a movie as a bankable product, or how much money will I make, etc. But is it easy on the pocket though? How do you live?
I am a child of a middle class family. I should say I'm very proud that, I am not, somehow I find answers. So far, I have not failed. I might momentarily fail, but I find my answers. I have not become rich like some filmmakers who have been in this industry for 25 years, making television commercials. So I stopped making advertising films because I am intoxicated to do virtual Bharat, short stories. So you will have to accept the reality. You'll have to live a little prudent life. But the richness I will get Tell me which filmmaker, he may have one star movie in his pocket, but I will have 100 films. Today I have 104 films we have already filmed. We have released 27. And I'll give you one last example. COVID happened. So 24th or 26th lockdown. We saw that as an opportunity. So 24th was lockdown. 26th March, for next 9 weeks, from Kashmir to Kerala, both on ground, on drone, we filmed in 4K resolution an empty and silent India, which nobody, it will never happen, it should never happen. But we have documented it. We have phenomenal footage. Banaras looks like some 900 years ago, where there was nothing. Like that, every landscape we have filmed, which is empty, silent India. So one has to be always looking for opportunities and see how you can interpret with creativity for a greater purpose. And see, please understand, yes, this is a literature festival, but modern literature of today's generation is all visual. Okay, people are reading less. I wish they read more, but they're all watching. So I want to use that space and influence them. I don't want to waste any opportunity.
Well done. So far, you have done so beautifully, actually. This is an India that I did not know, and I think everybody with each movie of his would discover a facet of India that you have never noticed. Thank you for that, Bharatbala. Perhaps we can now take questions as well. Go ahead. He's all yours. Raise your hand. Yes, there's a gentleman in a paisley shirt.
Hi Bharat, the clip we saw, when is the movie coming out? Is there a release date for this?
For the Marian?
Yeah.
That's 10 years old.
Oh.
I'm liking it. You make it feel like it's now.
Oh, no.
It's 2013 movie.
Oh, my bad. But I'll go and now watch it.
Yeah.
You have got him suitably intrigued for the movie, and it still looks relevant. I think that's the power of his movies as well. It seems timeless. There's another, can we have, yeah, go ahead. Don't be shy. I know it's the afternoon, but you have the, rare opportunity of talking to Bharatbala. Otherwise, we continue talking, but go ahead. Do you have a question, any of y'all? Yeah, there you go. There's a gentleman there in the green shirt, and then to the gentleman in the brown kurta.
Thanks, Bharat. When I see what's happening with the big film hits of India today, and then I see what you're trying to do, aren't you, I know you said you're optimistic, but doesn't it make you feel pessimistic when you see the biggest grosser film is Animal, and Jailer, and a series, even Kamal Hassan's movies I really used to like, with that Bikram, what is that violence and killing? And people clapping in theater when people's heads are being chopped off. And they are also the potential viewers of your film. So how do you respond to this regressive problems in Indian mainstream film?
This is a challenge globally. It's not specific to our audience alone. Today, when people are working on marketing a movie, they want posters with blood and guns. If a blood and gun is there in the poster, you have the first draw. So, I'm not going to give up because of that. I might be a niche audiencer compared to that world, universe. I'm niche. But there is a niche that needs to be taken care of. Please read the comments in every film of ours in YouTube. From every corner of people, how they are discovering and what it is done to them. I'm working for them. They are the ones who are inspiring me. So, you don't expect the outcome, sir. Outcome will eventually, when I did Vande Mataram, I didn't know it will come this far. Put your heart, it's creativity. Can you show your power of creativity and make that permanent? So I believe that Virtual Bharat, if the stories are done well, if there is honesty in the stories, it will edge into the hearts of minds of people.
There's another question in the front, the gentleman in the front. Sir? Yes. If you could just hand over the mic to the person in the front row, please. Thank you.
Hello, sir. My question to you is, we watched Thalam in color, and we watched Marian in black and white. How do you decide which would be more effective? I mean, one particular scene or one particular movie would be better in black and white, not in color, or otherwise. How do you decide that?
Actually, to correct it, sir, Marian is also in color. Maybe there's some projection issue.
It's a technical issue, yeah.
But, you know, we coming from advertising, and you take any photograph today, you put it in black and white, it's much more attractive, much more storytelling. So black and white is always, for me, it's a creative medium's excitement to do it. But audience doesn't understand that. So I limit myself to doing too much of black and white. I focus on trying to present, because when you're telling true stories, you have to present it how it looks over there. If I stylize it too much, it's gone. So in that sense, by and large, what is also exciting is today, the color correction medium is phenomenal. Like the technology is so advanced that you can get the minimum light. With light, you can film a lot. So we need to present that reality as it is. So we have to put our art in that. So black and white depends on the story, sir.
Brilliant. Are there more questions as well? Ask away. Don't be shy. There's a gentleman, sir, on your right. Thank you.
Hello, sir. I am planning to do a travel on 1,500 kilometers in Himalayas this year. So, from your ideas, I am planning to document it somehow. I don't know. I don't currently have any idea how should I document it. So, from your talk, I understand that I might get some true stories. Could you tell me or suggest me, is there any idea from your side you can give me on documenting it?
I think it's excellent. I think I congratulate you for taking this step. But I think you will learn on your own how you want to document. If I tell you, it will be my way of documenting. You have to discover your artistic expression. So recently, there is a film called Ganga, the daughter of the Himalayas. So we made a film where I trekked from Gangotri to Tapovan to film with one lone mountaineer. So we found a story in an interesting way where the girl is from, in folklore, it says there is a village near Ganga, near Gangotri called Mukba. And they say Ganga is the daughter of Mukba. And this girl is the real daughter of Mukba. So I just paralleled it and this made a story along it. And you will see how we went up to Tapovan. So it's amazing, visually delighting. So you are always happy. You can come over to Bombay or write to me. I can give my 2 bit, but there has to be something why you're doing and what you want to say is critical.
That's amazing. What about other questions? Happy to. We have another 9 minutes to go, so go for it. There's a lady there.
Hi, sir. Actually, you said you traveled from Himalaya, from Kashmir to the other end, right? So, other than that, like, there were stories 1, 2, 3 about a person who was the longest, like, he was the longest, oldest person, right, sir? So, how do you find these people? Like, how do you approach them?
You know, it is a very good question because it shouldn't look like we went into a village suddenly with cameras and we exploited them and came. Now, all the people we have filmed with, we have a relationship now with them. And that's what is fascinating. So, by the time we leave the village or the place where we had filmed, we are already family to them. So this is not something one time you go make a film and you walk away. Like there is a story on a poet called Haldar Nag. I'll tell that story very interestingly. He's an Adivasi poet from Sambalpur in Odisha. So I read about him, I was fascinated by him, and we went and filmed, again a beautiful film, and but he spoke a language called Kosli, nobody understands. So I took that film and showed it to Gulzar Saab, and Gulzar ji loved it. And then he said, and the poem that I chose to film him is called Letters to Haldar Nag. It was very biographical. So Gulzar ji introduced him by saying, Haldar, main tujhe khat likh raha hoon. And he introduced and described this great poet. And so the film got made, it released, it got 2 million plus views. Who is who, including Shashi Tharoor, Naveen Patnaik, whatever the chief, everybody tweeted and celebrated that poet. But the icing was, 2 months later, Gulzar ji calls and says, I am publishing a book of 365 poems, a poem a day, and I want my opening poem to be of Haldar Nag. So here we go back to Haldar, and then that poem gets published by HarperCollins. It gets launched at Jaipur Lit Festival, and Gulzar ji presents this film of Haldar Nag at Jaipur Lit Festival. So we try to celebrate every story. That was never the intent, but the journey happened. So we always hope that there will be something more that will happen to the story other than just us filming.
Interesting, I have a quick question. Are the subjects involved in the editing process of the film? The subjects that you show?
No. No, I just, because, you know, it's an art of, we are ourselves discovering how to tell a story in 10 minutes. And most important is when I show them the film, I want them to be surprised and feel a sense of pride in their community. For example, we made a film in Meeraj. Meeraj is in Maharashtra, and that's where they make Tanpura makers for 9 generations. So they have made Tanpuras for Bhimsen Joshis to you name every maestro, and it becomes a lifelong companion for them. So we made a film. When we released that film, in the Facebook we discovered from analytics that it is Solapur, Kolhapur, all the community around that celebrated and shared, and you know, we got a big viewing from the local people. So I think if you make a film and if it really local people appreciate it, their community itself will support it. Like Talam, Kerala supported it in a phenomenal way. It's got about nearly 5.5 to 6 million views. So, and still counting. So like that it'll go.
Excellent. We have another question with this.
Hello, sir. Sir, when you made this Vande Mataram in the 90s, before that also we used to have this union of actors like Doordarshan and all, you know, they used to make these album songs, you know, combining all the actors from South and North together, but then the quality was low, like with respect to cinematography or something like that. Visual beauty was not there. With Vande Mataram, that revolution started. Like, we understand that we can make quality videos by combining all this. And it went to the extent that the 2011 World Cup final, we were all singing that song. So it was a real revolution. But my question is, you said you don't want to come down to, stoop down to the level of reels or something. 10 minutes is fine. That is the least you can go and then cinematically project an idea. I understand why you're saying this because, you know, the reel culture is such that everybody who has a phone is focusing less on the content and then just looking for reach and stuff like that. But isn't there an opportunity? Like, there's an audience, right? Like, okay, I understand it's a reel, 1.5 thing, it's a lot of limitations are there, but then there is an audience for you, right? For you to focus or for you to project your talent as a filmmaker. What do you think about that?
Well, it's a very valid question. Well, I learned my craft of filmmaking from 30 seconds and 15 seconds. I was making television commercials. My first 500 odd commercials were all 30 seconds and 60 seconds. So I am a great subscriber to that. But big stories cannot be said in that. We do make reels and posts, but we use them mainly to promote the film on social media. But our stories has to be, you have to give them the space, you have to give them the respect to feel the story. So we will use all the mediums. I don't think we should negate anything, but use it for its purpose.
Brilliant. We have time for one more question. Go for it. Here's the, yes, sir. Can you get a...
Sir, I have to become a film director. How to blend art film and commercial film?
How to blend art and commercial film. He wants to become a movie director.
First, go to a film school, and you have to go and experience it through the school, and then you will find the answer. There is nothing as art film and commercial film. For me, a good film and a bad film. So you will find it if you go and learn the craft first, and then I think you will find your answers yourself.
Thank you, sir.
I am a zoology graduate. I didn't go to any film school. I just got into filmmaking.
I know, and this also proves that you don't need a film school to make brilliant movies. Thank you so much for trying to change the world one good story at a time, and that too under 10 minutes. Well done, and thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure and a privilege. He's been entertaining us with short movies, and that really opened our eyes to New India. Thank you.
Thank you, Manjusha. You are fantastic, and you have, hope you have a safe travel back home, and
Thank you.
bring us a lot of subscribers from the Gulf. Thank you.
That's true. That's a promise. The first thing I would do is I would ask every one of you here to go on YouTube, look for Virtual Bharat, and subscribe. Trust me, I'm a critic, and I don't like 90% of the movies I watch. So I have to give it to him. His 10-minute movies are worth watching because you will discover a new India. Thank you very much.